The day of the general elections is nearing, and people are deciding which party they are going to vote for, with the belief that their choice of government leaders would effectively tackle the prevalent social issues Belize is facing today. Some of these issues include affordable housing, access to education, and proper health care. Today, in our featured story, we take a look at an organization that certainly has taken up the mantle of diligently serving the broader society and bringing new hope to families in need. Today, we take a look at Hand in Hand Ministries. Their work began in 2002 in Belize, spearheaded by Mark Thessing, who had just finished his 2-year commitment as a Jesuit volunteer. Mark saw housing as the greatest need in Belize, followed by HIV and AIDS care and prevention, and education for children in order to break the cycle of poverty. The organization firmly believes that building strong communities begins at home.
400 houses. To Hand in Hand International, it means progress. It means dreams are coming true. It means you start with one and you think that's how you make an impact. You start with one, but then when you get to 400, it's like, wow, it was a dream come true. It's really real. You start with one, and then all of a sudden you have 400, and then you're starting to make an impact. So it's super exciting. It's fun. Belize kind of set the tone for Hand in Hand. It was the first place where we started, and we went in and said, we'll take care of housing, we'll work on housing. And when we started with the housing, we found that HIV/AIDS is a challenge in the country as well. Let's see if we can help there. And then after helping with that, we're like, hey, education, perhaps we could help with education. And I think that's kind of been what we've done everywhere. We do work in Nicaragua. We came in and we started an education program there. That was the foundation, but said, maybe we could build some houses too. So we started building houses as well. And I think that engaging people in the work with people is the key to Hand in Hand, and engaging volunteers in the work. And so because of what we did in Belize, we now do that similar kind of get people engaged in Eastern Kentucky. And then we now do it in our own city of Louisville, because we figured if it can work everywhere else, it could work right here in Louisville. So it really set the stage for everything, honestly.
My involvement in Hand in Hand, actually, if you ask me, in all honesty, I think it's divine providence, it's divine intervention. I had never intended in staying at Hand in Hand. That was never the intention initially. The guy who started Hand in Hand here in Belize in 2002 was a guy by the name of Mark Thessing, and he was a Jesuit volunteer 2 years prior here in Belize at St. Martin de Porres. At that time, I was the coordinator for the Central Zone in the youth ministry. So I was in charge of about 15 to 20 youth groups in the Belize and Cayo districts. He was the leader of the youth group for St. Martin's, and that's how we became involved and how I came to know him. So when he came back and started Hand in Hand through the inspiration of Wayne Fowler, our founder, Hand in Hand started growing. And so I was in between jobs, and he came to me and he said, we're growing bigger and faster than I thought, and I would like someone to come in to help me structure the office. So I told him, yes, I'll come in for about 2 or 3 weeks and help you with that. And I came in and I started helping him structure his office. While I was there in those 3 weeks, the guy who dealt with the immersion groups had to return to the States. And so I said, drive a van, take around a group. I could do that too. So I started doing it and I started liking it. So I spoke to my wife and we said, maybe we could do this for about 2 months. 2 months became 3 months. 3 months became 6 months. And then within about a year and a half, the founder asked me if I would be prepared to take over completely, because they had seen what I was able to and I had planned to move on. And in 2005, I took over here as the lead for Hand in Hand Ministries.
About a third of our annual budget is supported by people, ordinary people, who come on a trip to help lift a family just a little bit. But what really happens, and I think the reason they come back and the reason that it works, is because the families they come to help actually lift them. I like to say that we're an organization that lifts or assists people in need, and we're all in need. The needs are different. Some people need warmth and family and love and get away from all their material goods, and other people just need a good solid roof over their house. And so I think it's because everybody wins, the model works, and people fall in love with wherever they go and the people that they're dealing with. And I think we grow compassion and understanding amongst people, and that's what I think the real value is. I mean, love your God and love your neighbor. That's and it's common in every religion. That's what we're there for, to love each other and to love the God who brought us here. So it works.
We started off with 4 different initiatives when I took over. The first and foremost, when we started in Belize, when Mark Thessing came, we were working with the St. Vincent de Paul community, and they were building homes, and that's where we started. So from the outset, we started with building modest homes. And what we found out in 2004, UNICEF brought out a circular, a research, and they claimed that within the next 10 years, 1 in every 10 children in Belize will be infected with or affected by HIV and AIDS. That was drastic for us. That was compelling news for us. So we decided to do something. And that's when Hand in Hand opened the first and only daycare outreach program for children infected with HIV and AIDS in the country. And since then, we have been the only organization that actually caters directly to the infected child in the country. So much so that when the Belize Health Information System came on board, we were the first NGO to be placed on the government grid, because the Ministry of Health recognizes us as the arm and the only people who deal with the infected child countrywide. We also started a scholarship program, and since then we've graduated very many students from Belize, from our high schools and our tertiary level. Right now in Belize, we have people who work in the sanitation department. We have different policemen. We have about 4 or 5 nurses. We have a couple of social workers that have graduated from our program. So that's the scholarship program. At that time also, we had vigorously initiated what we call a cafeteria program. And we initiated cafeteria in 8 different schools in the country. and those are still going at this time. But everything that Hand in Hand does, everything that we do, all our programs, all our initiative, all our ideas come from people with the most need. People come to us and tell us what they need, and that is what drives us. We believe that most of what people come to us with is what God brings them to us with. And we are duty bound to answer the call of God. Because in my Jesuit spirituality, every day I ask myself, what more can I do? What more is there needed to do? What more can I dream for those who are in most need? And that is what drives Hand in Hand. So everything that we've done, right now we're opening a community kitchen. Right now we're trying to start a basketball court and a mentorship program. Right now we're starting to do a gardening program for the ladies in the area here. But everything that we do, all the ideas that come from the grace of God for people who are in most need. That's what drives us.
Ever since Hand in Hand Ministries was established in 2002, it has built over 400 houses. Volunteers work side by side with the Building for Change partners, forming close personal connections as they complete construction together. The 400th house is definitely a milestone for the Hand in Hand Ministries, but the number of houses built also means 400 families being granted a comfortable home to live in. Let us take a look into the moment of the complete construction of the 400th house.
Today we're blessing house number 400.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verses 6 to 7 says, "Blessed you shall be when you come in, and blessed you shall be when you go out. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise against you to be defeated before your face. They shall come out against you one way and shall flee before you 7 ways." Guys, this is your front door. This door provides you shelter from the storm. It provides you safety when you come on the inside of it. And it keeps the mosquitoes and the sandflies away from your precious babies. It's a very important part of the house and the security of it. And when we go in and out of it, going about your daily thing, you may not ever think about this door again. But the first time that you step through this door as a family, it's special. This is your house. This is your door. And we pray that nothing will come against this door.
However, there is a process that must be carried out before the construction of a house. First, of course, is the request of those in need. Thereafter, Hand in Hand Ministries responds and acts promptly to undertake a screening process of the family in order that the family may receive a home. Donations are collected from families or from organizations that are in partnership with Hand in Hand Ministries. Finally, perhaps the most tedious task, the construction of the 16-foot by 20-foot wooden home. Many Belizeans live in a substandard home that pose a risk to the health, safety, or physical well-being of occupants or neighbors. It increases risk of disease, crime, and social isolation and poor mental health. Some Belizean women share their story of how they met Hand in Hand Ministries, the change it brought to their way of living, and how it empowered them to share the same compassion to others by joining Hand in Hand Ministry.
I was crying because I was very hungry, but there was this one teacher who probably always recognized, and she took me to her classroom and she gave me something to eat. At 17 years old, I had to make a decision no 17-year-old should ever have to make. I remembered my godfather. I was very close to my godfather. He had promised me a bicycle as a graduation gift. Back then, our mode of transportation was riding bicycles from one end of the village to the other. And I was very excited. All my years going to school, I know that when I graduate, I'm finally going to own a bicycle of my own. But I decided that I wanted to go to school more instead. And I approached my godfather and I told him, I was like, I've been accepted to SJC and I want to go. I know you promised me a bicycle, but please just give me the money. so I can pay for my first year. My first semester of school, I did numerous scholarship applications, but all has been declined. I even did working scholarship application and I've been declined. And that hurt because I knew that I was in need and I wanted to do better. I wanted to come out of the situation that I was living in. I had to drop out.
My parents gave me the family home after knowing that I was struggling as a single mom at the time with 3 kids, working from morning till night, until one day my mom vein burst in the house. No one knew that had happened to my mom until my dad found her in the room, passed out with a vein burst. That was really heartbroken for me. That at that point in my life, I had to choose whether or not I will be the one to give up my work to take care of my mom. It was a hard decision, being the fact that I was young and a mother of 3, don't know which direction to go. I just had to choose. That was my breaking point, that I said, you know what, this is the time for me to step back and have faith.
There was no electricity in my house, and whenever I would hear the rats in the roof, I will hit the spot where I hear the rat, and then it will usually run away and I'll be okay for the night. That night, when I heard that rat in the roof, I don't know, and I believe I said, and I always, and up to now, I still have in my mind, it was the voice of God that said, look at what you were doing. When I flickered the light to see what was happening over, and at this time, the kids were on the floor in front of my bed, me and the baby was on the bed. And when I flickered in the light, there was a snake swallowing a rat over. So if I would have hit without looking, that would have fallen on my kids. I wake them up and we ran out of the house the night, and that happened about 3 in the morning, and we sit on the veranda until morning break. That's when I got my neighbor, which is my brother, he came across and removed the snake for me. Somehow I lost my faith in everything. And I was thinking, where do I go from here? What will happen next? I really at that time had lost faith in everything and everyone because I had no one to turn to.
My mom is my strength. I told her, lady, you're my backbone. She's the one who gave me further encouragement. She was like, my daughter, you have to go back to school. You have to go back to school. I was like, I don't have any money. At the time, I did not have a job because I just had a child. My mom came home one day and she was like, I want you to apply for a next scholarship. I was like, no, I've been through all the rejections and I don't think I can handle a next rejection. And she was like, no, you've already heard no, that's the worst. Reluctantly, I did the application. They accepted me as a scholarship student in their program. And that's how I was introduced to Hand in Hand Ministries. I volunteered with them 2 days for the week with the Building for Change program. I sat on the committee and I did assessments. I did intakes for those people coming in. And because I knew how it felt to be rejected, I know how it felt to get a turnaround time from organization who's there to help. I strongly believe in treating people with dignity and worth, and that's exactly what I did, being a part of the Hand in Hand family. Whenever I encounter anyone and anyone comes to seek out that assistance, I try to give them the best because I understood what it felt not to be aided when you really need it the most. During this time I was volunteering with them, I've been having some other housing challenges of my own, but I did not want to apply for their housing program because I had dreams. I knew that I'd soon be finished with my associate's degree. I'd soon get a permanent job. I'd soon be able to make enough money to actually build myself a home. Gradually over the years, the second-hand plywood, they started to become deteriorated. There were large openings to the bottom. Our bathroom area that we were using, we had to repair it numerous times, but because it was repaired by second-hand wood, and the constant dropping of water, it always rotten it very fast. At one point, we had to use canvas to secure the exterior to avoid different rodents from coming in. There was at a point when I couldn't handle it.
It gave me an opportunity. You know, I don't have to worry about my kids not being safe anymore. I can now concentrate on getting them their education. So I went back to school. I went to Gwendolyn's Evening Division. I graduated. I got my GED, where I graduated with honors. I still wasn't satisfied. I went to the University of Belize. Now I have my associates in social work. I'm currently the acting supervisor for Golden Havens Rest Home, and all of this, some people might not believe, but all of this happens from having a safe and secure home. I know for a fact the change that Hand in Hand did for me.
It's a joyful moment for me because it was my time to make a change for my kids. I worked and I try giving back to the community so that someone could feel the way I feel, the happiness, the joy, the gratitude of owning something that is yours.
My whole life changed for me because I finally got to have all my kids around me. It's like I no longer have to separate them. It's like I'm always there, I'm always home. So whenever the kids come home from school, they could always say, no, oh well, I go home to my mommy, you know, and to me that's a big thing. So January 2020 for me will be 4 years since I'm with Hand in Hand, 3 years with the leadership team, and I'm very grateful for meeting these ladies, that we could come together as a team, as ladies, as mothers, as friends, that we could give back.
Hand in Hand Ministries is a true testament that by lending a hand, it brings change, not only to the family that receives the home, but also the volunteers from the immersion trips that gratuitously work to build the home.
We started this journey of building your home by building a solid foundation. A foundation, in the simplest sense, is something that supports something else. They saved the crier for last.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
All together.
Do you mirror it?
No, I can do it.
Be the nail.
Be the nail. Over the last 4 days, we've watched not only the literal foundation to your home be built through sweat and hard work, but also found out what an amazing foundation your family has been built on. A foundation of love for each other and your 3 beautiful girls that radiate on your faces with every smile. A foundation of support from your immediate family, close friends, and community that came from all over the city in their cars and bikes to support you all. A foundation of generosity for welcoming all of us from all over the U.S. to come and lend a helping hand in building your new home. And most importantly, your foundation in Jesus Christ, who is the only solid foundation on which there is to stand.
Amen.
Our hope and prayer for you, Emil and Dory, is that you continue to grow and build on a solid foundation, which you have been so kind to share and bless with us throughout this experience. And so God bless your home and all who enter.
Today, of course, you all may or may not know, is Thanksgiving in the United States. and it's a national holiday, one of our most celebrated national holidays. And the purpose of it is for families and friends to get together, break bread, have a feast. And actually the first one was in 1621, just off number 400, which I thought was really interesting. But Thanksgiving is to get together, break bread, show love, give thanks, family, friends. And this morning I woke up and I thought about it, and I thought, I'm always with my parents on Thanksgiving. I'm always with my boys, my wife, and it's different. And we're sitting down eating turkey, and then I thought about today, we're with our Belizean friends, and we're somewhere in the world we've never been. And it's like the divisions between countries just dissolved. And we're here together, and we're here with one common theme, is love. We love each other. And there's no barrier, country, color, economics. It's just about love. And if we have our focus on love, everything, as Brother Mike said, it's going to work out.
Covers all.
And so this house was built with love. And there's going to be a lot of love in this home with you two and your 3 beautiful daughters. So thank you for letting us be a very small part of it.
Just a few words about the door and just generally the experience. Durant and Emil, it's been an honor to work alongside you this week building your house. Watching your hard work, appreciation, and positive attitudes is something that I'll carry with me forever. And I know that will pass on to your daughters, which is amazing. May this house become your home. Through this door, may you welcome new and old friends and family. May this door be the entry to building new memories and remembering and cherishing old memories. And may you always feel walking through this door, you have a safe space to call your own and a safe place to lay your head at night. Many blessings to your whole family. And this is just something to hang in your home.
Thank you. We all signed it.
Yeah, we all signed the back of it for you.
Oh, yes.
Our sincerest thank you to Hand in Hand Ministries for working hand in hand with the local Belizean community and for transforming lives through their ongoing programs. If you want to help by volunteering, fundraising, or any other way possible, you can call 610-6677 or the Outreach Center 610-1922. Or if you want to directly donate, you can visit their webpage at www.myhandinhand.org.